What's going on, guys? Back with another Wizards video after the Wizards lose their second game in a row. First losing streak of the season. They lost to the Toronto Raptors 109 to 100. And my simple thoughts are pretty much, I feel like the Raptors, for a big part of the game, I feel like the Raptors, they played harder. I feel like they wanted it more. Now the Wizards, in spurts, they fought back. They chipped back. But I feel like the Raptors really, they came out hungry. They came out ready. Now, if you're a Wizards fan, you probably thought this is a game that the Wizards should win. I mean, you look at the bet odds, the Wizards were the favorites in this game. But the Raptors were just, I feel like the team that hustled more, especially in that first half. I feel like they were the team that really wanted it more. In that second quarter, they boosted the lead up to 14 points. Now, you look at the stats, Bradley Beal, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. I don't really have any big issues with Bradley Beal's game. Now, you can say in the fourth quarter when they were down like 6 and Bradley Beal took that, I would say it was pretty contested three-pointer. That miss, you can have issues with that shot. You definitely can say that. Spencer Dinwiddie, personally, I wanted to see him be more involved in this game. He only took 8 shots. I feel like he should have been more aggressive. I feel like he should have got more shots up. But hopefully in the next game, he's a little more involved. Kyle Kuzma, he struggled, especially in that first quarter. It was ugly. And then he ended up going out with a forearm contusion and didn't come back to return. He was 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. So another rough shoot night from 3 from the Wizards. And then Montrezl Harrell, he had a decent game off the bench, 15 points, 10 rebounds. Deni Avdija, who I kind of want to get into a little bit. You see, I feel like you've seen the good and the bad with Deni in this game. You've seen the good in that third quarter. Because in that third quarter, Deni Avdija was pretty much the spark, that helped bring the Wizards back. He had the 2 nice layups. Then he had the three-pointer. Those are the things you want to see. Those are the things right there. And he was playing good defense on Van Vliet in that fourth quarter, too. So those are the things you want to see. Those are the good things from Deni. That the reason that I got good hopes for him, etc. And then you see the rough things like the finishing around the rim that he's even talked about. He had a missed layup. It was right up close. He had missed it. Then he had an and one opportunity. I believe either in the first or second quarter he had got fouled. But it should have been an and one bucket. Especially, you could say, he's 6'9", he should just dunk those, etc. Which is true, which is very true. But that and the free throw shooting, the finishing and the free throw shooting. He went 2 for 6 from the free throw line. Even if you're a fan of Deni, etc., everybody can admit that you got to be able to make your free throws, especially if you're because when you're in that fourth quarter late and teams start fouling, you're going to be counting on to hit those free throws. So the free throw shooting and the finishing, those were the negative things I seen from Deni. But like I said, you seen the positive in that third quarter when he sparked that Wizards run in the defense that we've seen all season. So you've seen some of the bad, you see some of the good in this game from Deni there. He ended up with 11 points and 6 rebounds, 4 for 7 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. Howell Neto had 14 points, 4 assists. He was 5 for 8 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. He didn't have too bad of a game. I thought Neto had a pretty decent game. Aaron Holiday didn't really get minutes like that. Corey Kispert got 16 minutes. He hit a 3, and he only had 4 points. Caldwell Pope struggled, 0 for 6 from the 3, 4 for 13 from the field. Honestly, the offense is, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the Wizards they're just not hitting their open threes and things like that. But when you're a bad three-point shooting team, but you're shooting 32 threes, and you're only making 8 of them, they shot 25% from the 3. And a lot of that has to do with the Raptors. Like the Wizards' first game against the Raptors, they won, but they only scored 98 points. And then they only scored 100 in their second game against the Raptors. So a lot of that can be contributed to the Raptors and their defense. They play stingy defense. They play scrappy defense. So you can't take nothing away from them. And, in that fourth quarter, I didn't bring up the refs, but there was an obvious goaltender that got missed, and then it ended up being like a 5-point swing for the Raptors, and that kind of did really change the game. But that wasn't, it's a full game before that instant even happened. So I'm not going to sit here and say the refs are the reason the Wizards lost, because that's simply not true. It's a whole game to be played before you get to that point, etc. And even after that, the Wizards still have their opportunities to win the game. It was a winnable game. So, I mean, the three-point shooting is an issue. Guys got to be able to hit their threes, man. Especially if we're going to be shooting 32 threes. If we're going to be shooting threes at a high volume, you got to be making at least, 40%, 37%, anything more than 25% or in the 20s. You got to. Or else, as teams have been doing, they're going to start packing the paint, running a little zone here and there, packing the paint, daring you to shoot. That's just some of the things that's going to happen. I mean, looking at it, they got to the free throw line 30 times, so that's a good thing, you would say. They got to the line 30 times. Shot 80% from the free throw line. But I just got to say it's gut check time. It's the first losing streak of the season, first losing streak as for Wes Unseld Jr.'s young coaching career. I said it against the Nets. How do you respond in the next game? Against the Brooklyn Nets, they lost. They responded well against the Boston Celtics. They went into Boston and won. They on a 2-game losing streak, back-to-back L's. They got the Memphis Grizzlies coming into DC next. A Grizzlies team that the Wizards have struggled with in the past. So it's going to be a tough challenge. You got Desmond Bain, you got John Morant, you got a lot of good guys over there. JJJ, Jackson Jr. So, I mean, it ain't going to get no easier. And I think after the Grizzlies, they got the Bucks coming into DC too. So, it's gut check time. Deni Avdija, and it shouldn't be Deni Avdija who's mentioning this. Deni Avdija brought up the fact that in the shoot-around, he felt like the team didn't really have the energy, etc. A second-year player shouldn't be the one noticing those things. Where are the vets in the locker room? Those are the guys who should be saying stuff about it, etc. Wes said he didn't like the energy either. The Wizards' energy was bad all game, for the most part. They had spurts, like I said, where the energy was up, the defensive intensity was up, but for the most part, the energy was flat. The Raptors had more energy than them coming out. So those are just things you want to see corrected. You don't want to get to a point where the Wizards get a couple wins, they get a little bit of respect, and they don't know how to act, and they fall off. That's a sign of a team that's used to losing. A franchise that's used to losing. You don't get satisfied because you go 5-1, etc. You start good, you start strong, and you fall off. That's not what decent teams do. That's not what good teams do, man. You got to continue to play hard. The schedule ain't getting easier. Even if you look and you see lower teams on the schedule, those ain't 100% wins. You got to fight. You got to play. You got to come out hard. You got to come out with energy, man. Or these teams going to try to run you out your own home court. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. How do you feel about the game? What was your thoughts about it? As always, if you enjoyed the video, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.